Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, April 20th, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. In today's top story, Monday, the state of Massachusetts celebrated Patriots Day, also known to residents as Marathon Monday. Over 29,000 people gathered in Hopkinton to make the 26.2-mile trek to Boylston Street in Boston. The big story this year was the weather. Over the course of the day, torrential rains dropped 2 inches of precipitation, and there were wind gusts that were recorded at over 40 miles per hour. This didn't stop 18 Norwood residents from completing the most revered marathon in the country. We were lucky enough to catch up with runners Mike DeTaco, Matt Brown, and Lucas Carr to tell us all about the day.
We end up meeting at the same place we always have since we started doing this back in 2012. We pretty much get on our own bus, get on the Mass Pike from there, drive out to Hopkinton, get to the starting line, get prepared, pretty much go from there.
Yeah, so it never gets old, but while you're on the Pike and driving out to Hopkinton, it's about 45 minutes, and the farther out you get, the longer it takes. You realize that you're running back to Boston. It happened in 2012 that it really hit me, and then when the rain started and there were even snowflakes out in Hopkinton, I realized that we were in for a big one and we're going to run back, literally run back to our cars and back in Boston.
I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was. So that was going to be at least warmer, probably about 50 degrees, but I was excited, especially compared to the last couple of years where it was just really hot.
I mean, I think with the rain, with everything else, with the weather conditions, it was just, it was chaotic. But you look to the guy that you're pushing, and really, and my general consensus is, I need guidance from this guy, because I think if you want to put all elements aside, they could have been gale force winds for all I think he understood. It was just his attitude that really kind of, got us all through with it, got us both through it. And
I remember being at the starting line and thinking, the rain wasn't that bad then. It was spitting. We made our way to the starting line, and as the gun went off, it wasn't that bad. And we got maybe a half mile in, and the skies just opened up, and I almost laughed to myself. I said, is this really going to be what the 26 miles is going to be like? And it for sure was. I mean, the wind was blowing sideways. There were times you couldn't see 10 feet in front of you. So everyone got the brunt of it. There was no letting up for that whole day.
My finishing time was 2 hours, 50 minutes, 29 seconds, which somehow was the best I'd ever done in a marathon. My best was only about 6 seconds slower in Martha's Vineyard in May of last year, and under pretty much ideal conditions. So who knows, if I had a day where it was just a little less headwind, what that could have been. My very first thought was, oh wow, I actually did it. After the joy, the adrenaline kind of wears off and you start to feel the soreness and the cold. So I told me get to the end, see my girlfriend, her mom, get a change of clothes on, and then just enjoy the moment with them, and then hop on the train to get back to Braintree.
I think, as you're going up the hill to turn left on Boylston, you can really hear the roar. You start to hear the roar of the crowd. With the weather, the city wasn't as lively as it was in years past, and I don't blame people for not going in. I wouldn't have gone in. But Boylston was the loudest part of the course, and just hearing that crowd, seeing the finish line, and reflecting back on what we went through, we might as well have floated to the finish line. They really got us there over that last little hurdle.
Personally, I owe that whole marathon to Matt, and I think we as a whole would owe that whole marathon to the city.
Yeah, to anyone who's running or thinking about doing a marathon, or just whatever their goal is, just keep pushing, keep believing in yourself. There's gonna be some good days, gonna be some bad days, but deep inside you know you can do it.
I think this will be one that we'll always remember. This one will stick out the most. Definitely don't want to do that one again, but it's going to be one that we will always remember. And for me, I'll be the most proud of Luke for.
I mean, I think he just said it right there. Just really kind of. I think that's really that really kind of sums up the answer. I mean, this was just one that another bucket list, Matt.
Yeah,
For sure.
cross that one off.
Congrats, Mike, Matt, and Lucas. We would also like to congratulate all the current Norwood residents who completed the marathon during the extreme conditions this year. Here is a list of the amazing people who toughed out the elements. Last weekend, Town Manager Tony Mazzucco held a joint meeting with the Selectmen, School Committee, and Finance Commission to discuss the finances of the town. This was the first time all three boards and the town manager held this type of joint meeting. Board of Selectmen Chairman Tom Maloney began by explaining the reason for the meeting.
The reason for this gathering is that about 10 years ago, the town adopted and promulgated a set of financial guidelines, the Budget Balancing Subcommittee, which I think most people would agree has served the town pretty well. In view of a number of changes that have been made at the state level regarding budgeting and reserves and other post-employment benefits, we've asked Tony Mazzucco, our new general manager, to put together a new document, or draft a new document for our discussion to see how we can take some of the newer requirements and perhaps update the guidelines and incorporate them, either incorporate them into the old document or come up with a whole new document or some combination of the two. Okay, so that's why we're here.
Later in the meeting, Town Manager Tony Mazzucco explained more about how the town's budget operates and also gave more information about an information night they are having later this month.
To Jerry's point about sharing financial policies and having them out there, we're slowly moving our budget towards a GFOA standard budget, or the Government Finance Officers Association best practice for transparent budgeting, and that includes keeping your financial policies as part of your overall budget document. So probably in next year's document, once we have a consolidated plan, it'll actually be part of the document.
If that's all from here, Tony, I do want you to mention May 3rd.
Yes.
Okay.
May 3rd, 7 o'clock at the high school, we're doing Municipal Finance 101. I know both Dr. Thompson and I had gotten a lot of questions this year as the budget got a little bit tighter, so it's open to everyone. We'll actually have childcare there, so if parents want to come and spend an hour or two on a Thursday evening learning about municipal finance, I find it fascinating, but we'll actually have childcare there for parents with young kids provided by the rec department. So Thursday the 3rd at 7 p.m. at the high school. It'll be in the Yusevich Lecture Hall. We're doing a Municipal Finance 101. It's just kind of a greatest hits of the things we tend to talk about and go over during the annual budget process.
And that's open to the general public, not
Absolutely.
just town meeting.
Correct. It's open to everyone. Actually, I'd encourage it for the general public.
To watch this meeting, tune into the NCM Government Channel. We'll be right back after this short break with more local government news from this week.
Hi, I'm John Hall and this is Debbie Homeward. We're two of the members of the 9-member Norwood Community Preservation Committee. We're here to talk to you about an exciting event that's coming up on April 30th and we hope you'll attend. First, let me give you a little background. The Community Preservation Act was passed here in Norwood last year, and we've been working ever since on the committee to make sure that it's implemented in the best way possible.
We will be hosting an evening in the Willett Room at the Civic at 7:30 on April 30th. We would love to see you then.
Just remember, we're going to be asking you for your ideas, projects that you think would help make Norwood a better town in any of these specific areas. We're going to show you some pictures of projects that have been completed in other towns to get you excited about what the CPA potential really is. So it's the Willett Room in the Civic Center at 7:30 p.m. on April 30th. Be there.
Welcome back to Norwood News. On Tuesday night, April 17th, the Board of Selectmen held their weekly meeting in the Harry Butters Selectmen Chambers. They received a monthly report from Recreation Superintendent Travis Farley to discuss upcoming work to be done at the Civic Center.
Monday, April 23rd, we're going to be starting our men's shower project. We're going to be installing stalls and tile, and it's just going to be an upgrade that we need from the gang showers that we currently have. So Monday, April 23rd to Friday, May 7th, they're going to be, the men's locker room is now going to become the women's, so the women's are going to be displaced, and then the 2 weeks after that, from May 7th to April 18th is going to be women's locker room is going to be displaced as well. So we like to apologize for the public inconvenience, but it is a necessary upgrade that we need to make.
The board also voted all of the special town meeting articles. Town meeting will be held in the high school auditorium Monday, May 14th at 7:30 p.m.
Forward, number 6, do we want to take any action on Article 6?
Motion to approve.
Motion to support, motion to
6 and
support.
7 are just housekeeping with our Special Town Meeting Act and bylaws.
All right, motion to support for Article 6 and 7 then?
Yes,
Is that okay,
sir.
Mr. Plasko? Very good. Made and seconded. Anything further? Hearing none, put it to a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. All right, so we have voted to endorse 5, 6, and 7. Support 5, 6, and 7. Article 9 is a sidewalk easement. Do we need any explication of that?
Motion to approve.
Second?
That's the Hatton Street on Lennox.
Yeah.
Very good. Pertaining to Norwood Plaza LLC and the project going on down Lennox Street. All right, very good. Motion to support.
Chair?
Yes.
Could we tell the folks at home what that's about?
Go right ahead.
Well, you could tell them. Or okay, so if we get the Lennox Street reopened, then we would have land for sidewalks. That's a good thing.
Okay, very good. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
Also on Tuesday, April 17th, the Zoning Board of Appeals met to discuss a few topics. Norwood residents came in to discuss their plans to add an addition to their home. The addition would consist of a family room for their family and friends to gather. The board approved the homeowner's application. Wednesday afternoon, the Airport Commission held their monthly meeting. They had a full agenda and a lot to cover. The commission met with the Du Bois and King to receive an update regarding the airport master plan. The commission also discussed in detail airport landing fees.
The airport that was considering landing fees. There's apparently no standard, although FAA would recommend if we do move forward with a fee structure, a proposed fee structure, that we actually pass that before FAA first, just to make sure that we're not in violation of any grant assurances. So as I said, tab 1 is the 14 airports that I pulled. Tab 2, based on this information in tab 1, I basically tried to boil it all down into something that was practical and even-handed. I wanted it to be even-handed. And I also didn't want any proposed landing fee. If we do move forward with this, Mr. Chairman, we obviously don't want it to affect the activity level of the airport, which I think is critical. We're actually on an upswing right now. The FAA took a look at our 2016 versus 2017 numbers. So we've got a 12% increase in air traffic, and I think that's definitely a plus. So any kind of a proposal on landing fees, we wouldn't want that to be.
On Wednesday night, Conservation Commission met and had much to discuss. One of many items on the agenda was an update from the Trails Subcommittee. Joe Grilli updated the Concom on what the subcommittee's goals are and what has been accomplished so far.
Our goals are, we've got some short-term goals. We want to create an inventory. We want to create a list of priorities that we would then, I think Lee has come back to the full committee with a couple of priorities and or may have gotten in touch with the DPW specific directly. But things, wouldn't it be great if, or I was out on the Ledgeview, I took a walk myself over this past weekend, and there's a couple of downed trees on that property. So things like that, not only would it benefit anybody who's out on the trail as a walker, but it also, if it's an easement and, somebody else needs access to it, the more we can make this a two-way dialogue, the better.
To watch the full government meetings, tune into NCM Government Channel or go to norwoodcommunitymedia.org. We'll be right back after this break with the latest in school news.
Here's a question to the slot. Shoots! kid throws it down deep for Hornihan. Shot. Here's Sharkey. Scores! Max Sharkey! Here's Connell out front to Spinoza. Spinoza backhand stuff there by the Canton goalie. Going back out front to Spinoza. Shoots. Here's Mateo with a goal. Bit of a hook, no call. Good move there. And he scores! Even with the hook and the interference and the high hitting and the two hands to the head, Norwood still scores. 5-2 Nuggets. That's going to do it here from Raynham Iceplex. Norwood comes out on top, 5-2 victory over the Canton Bulldogs.
Welcome back to Norwood News. This week was April vacation for the Norwood Public Schools, but there's still a lot going on. Let's go take a look at what's happening at our schools this week.
Hello everyone, it is April vacation. I'm Tim Rose here with my family in the Berchtesgaden region of Germany where it is 75 degrees and sunny and we have a great view of the snow-covered mountains right here behind us. I've done a lot of stuff on this trip, including I've been to Munich, the medieval town of Rothenburg where I had a Night's Watchman tour. We've been to the highest point in Germany, which is called the Zugspitze, and we've also been to the castle of Neuschwanstein, which was built in the mid-19th century. I've had a lot of fun here, it's been amazing, and I'm looking forward to the next few days I have. But enough about me, I hope you all had a great spring break, and now let's go and check out what happens at the Norwood High School during April vacation.
We're here at Norwood High, April vacation, to test all the fire alarms during this time to help make sure that all devices are working properly and communicating with the main panel here. We also notify the fire department as well to let them know that we are testing. But the reason we do that is to not impede in the school day and cause a lot of noise and essentially fire drills every time we set the alarms off. This is a job that we're here all day long, making sure we test everything thoroughly.
Hi, my name is Lisa Colosimo and I'm secretary to the principal here at Norwood High School. During April vacation, we're busy here preparing for graduation. I lock in all the scholarships and awards. Class day is coming up. We have the honors banquet. I pretty much confirm everything for graduation. Once April vacation ends, we pretty much hit the ground running, and it's all about the seniors. So up until graduation, till the last day of school, we are pretty busy here at Norwood High.
It's April vacation, and I'm here in the main office. I just came over from the field. I was doing a lacrosse game. I am the backup clock man, and I've done a couple of games already, getting better at it. The clock operator has to keep track of the time and the score, and it's different for boys lacrosse versus girls lacrosse, so I have to make notes on that. It's just a matter of having a proper score and time up on the clock, and if you don't get it right, the referee will start shouting up to you and straighten you out quickly. And tomorrow I'm doing a double header baseball game, just as a site supervisor, also backup. When Mr. Longley needs somebody extra, I like to be available. A site supervisor, for the most part, is keeping an eye on everything, making sure both teams have what they need, making sure the kids are well behaved, which they always are. It's really wonderful watching them. The sportsmanship in the stands is always nice. Basically just be there, make sure everything is in place, and if there's any difficulties, just know who to call, what to do.
Hi, my name's Steve Feiner, and it's April vacation, and we're here at Norwood Community Media, upgrading the wiring, removing all the old dead equipment, adding new feature sets like a patch bay to give infinite flexibility to everybody and make things better all around.
Hi, my name is Charlie Griffiths. I'm the senior custodian at Norwood High School. Just thought I'd give you a little input on what goes on at the high school on a vacation week, and this is a short week. We usually go into the dining hall, get that all cleaned up with a Zamboni machine. We do lighting in certain classrooms and areas, office where there's less personnel working during the vacation. We also have sports come in. That's another added item we have if the students want to use the gym, locker rooms or whatnot. And we have certain hallways we get cleaned up, and areas of the classrooms that my guys get cleaned up for the during the vacation week. We have a lot of little things that get done during that week, and that's about it. And I hope I get to see everybody back in the beginning of the next week. And that's what happens during vacation week. And I'd like to turn it over to Mike with sports.
Thanks, Charlie. And thank you guys for all the hard work that you do around the schools. The Mustang athletes have been very busy during this vacation week. The baseball team had 3 games, losing its first 2 to Braintree and Dedham, but they picked up a 9-7 win over Canton. Girls lacrosse won its 5th game of the season, 14-5 over Norton. Boys and girls tennis both took on Dedham. The boys won 4-1, and the girls fought hard but eventually lost to their rival. Although they lost, Alexa DeCesare won her singles match. Softball also played Dedham this week and won 10-2. That's all for sports. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Mike. Spring is right around the corner, and that means soon the fields around town will be filled with kids playing various sports. There's a lot that goes into getting the fields ready for the children in Norwood. For more on that process, we throw it to field reporter Brian Boudreau with DPW Superintendent Mark Ryan.
Thank you, Kristen. I'm down at the Balls Field right now with DPW Director Mark Ryan. We're going to talk about the baseball fields with opening day coming right around the corner. Mark, how you doing?
Good, Brian. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So what does the DPW do come springtime for getting prep for baseball and the field?
Well, typically it's the mad rush after a long winter. People are anxious to get on the fields, and we're anxious to get them out there playing. One of the first things doesn't happen in spring, Brian, is what we do in the fall to get the fields ready for the spring, and that's doing a lot of aerating and fertilizing, late fertilizing, throwing some seed down. We call it dormant seeding. Try to add material to the infield. So we try to minimize the amount of effort required in the spring by doing a lot of stuff in the fall. And then springtime comes, and then basically it's clean everything up. Clean up all the winter debris that is accumulated, be it trash, leaves, sticks, and a lot of droppings by the geese are probably the most disgusting problem. But we try to take care of that, and then just go right at it. Try to get these fields open for everyone.
Great. And now, what fields are the town DPW responsible for?
Well, back in the early 2000s, the fields were split up between schools and DPW as far as responsibility. There was a master plan done, and the agreement was the DPW would take care of all the fields except the fields at the high school. So right now the DPW maintains 24 athletic fields.
Okay. Now, does that include the fields up the street at Kelly, or is that separate?
The Kelly are not town fields.
Okay.
Those are private fields owned by Norwood Little League.
Okay. But otherwise, you guys cover the rest.
We cut the grass, we groom the infields, we eventually we'll be turning the irrigation on probably sometime in mid to late May, lining the ball fields, pumping them off after rainstorms, just keep them in play for the whole season.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of Norwood News. I am your host, Krista McDonald. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great weekend.